All right, hello scholars. Hey, listen, I just want to make a quick video here before your activity because you have to understand these important concepts here. And let me title this because this is the basically 5 shift factors of demand. There. These are the 5 shift factors of demand. I hope you can see this, and we'll pull this back up here. Kind of go out of the screen there. But these are very important for you to understand for the rest of the class because these 5 things will cause the demand curve to shift to the right or left. And remember, this is just specifically talking about demand. It's not talking about quantity. When you're talking about quantity, that indicator will move inside the curve. It doesn't cause the curve to move. And we'll talk about that down there on number 5, expectations. But the first shift factor is taste and preference. So I mean, it's basically saying if there's positive or negative factors to the product, if they come up with some magic vitamin capsule that causes people to be stronger and more intelligent and live longer, well, which way is the demand curve going to shift? It's going to shift to the right, right? Okay, so on the adverse side of that, if it causes bad effects, it's going to shift to the left. Number 2, number of consumers. If I build an apartment complex and there's nobody there, you're not going to do well. Let's say, for instance, if I open up, let's say it's a restaurant, and right across the street, all of a sudden this contractor comes in, wants to build an apartment complex that has full tenants in it. Well, that's going to cause my demand curve to shift to the right, right? So you have to have a number of willing people here to buy your product. The next one there is the price of related goods. And there's 2 parts to related goods. There's substitutes and there's complements, okay? He covered those in that video. I think for milk, he substituted almond milk. There's several things that you could look at here. With gasoline, they're looking at different types of ethanol to replace gasoline. Electric cars are substitutes for gas motors that run on gas. Complements, he used cereal there with his milk because those 2 things go together. And we'll talk about several scenarios with substitutes and complements, but the prices of those related goods can affect the primary good in a profound way and cause the demand curve to shift to the right or the left. Number 4, income. This is also broke down in 2 different things. The way that we can tell, like, the more money you make, the better things you can buy. Generally, if people are making more money, they will buy higher quality goods. Now, this is where we break this down into inferior and normal goods. If I have a very low income, you'll see me, I will buy more generic products. For instance, if you go into a grocery store, you may buy the store brand instead of the name brand. The store brand will be the inferior good, and the normal good will be the name brand. The reason they call it inferior is because when people's income starts to rise, the number of inferior goods bought will go down. Normal goods, when people's incomes increase, normal goods will increase as well. They don't, the price, the production of those goods don't go down. And there's also luxury goods where the luxury good goes up even higher than people's incomes when they increase. So if I have, for instance, if next year I get a 40% increase in my income, and Lexus goes out here and increases their product by 50%, but I still go buy a Lexus, then that's considered a luxury good because it increased well over the average of my income increase, if that makes sense. Just remember, inferior goods, think about generic product, the store brand, the Laura Lynn, the value brands. The normal goods are your name brands that cost a little bit more. So that's how you break that down. To keep this in within 5 expectations, is a change in quantity demanded or versus the change in demand. Okay, so to break that down once again, if you have a change in quantity demanded, you're not going to see a shift left or right because that has to do with price. Okay, if the price changes of the product, it's not going to cause it to shift to the right or left. It's going to cause a decrease or increase in the quantity, not the demand. The only time you're going to see a shift to the right or to the left is if you see a change in these 5 factors right here. And expectation is it could be a change in the market that's coming. So there's somebody says that gold's going to increase or decrease and things like that. And again, we're going to run through some scenarios in the next activity, and it will help you determine which way the demand curve is going to shift to the right or to the left.